Hello and welcome to Zing Thing. So today we have with us the Super Meteor 650. We got this from Shriji Automobiles, the Royal Enfield showroom in Greater Noida, and they were kind enough to give us this bike for the test ride. So I've been riding an Interceptor 650 for a year, and this bike actually has the same engine but has a lot of changes as compared to Interceptor, which are actually meant for making this bike more touring focused. So as you can see, most of the Interceptor users have been worried about punctures because that's a spoked wheel bike, and this bike has got alloy wheels, 19 inches in the front and 16 inches in the back. The rear tire is also more chunkier. It's a 150 section tire as compared to 130 in the Interceptor, and the front is same 100 section, but the front and rear tires size is different, 19 in the front and 16 in the back. It also has upside down fork, LED headlight. It has got a very broad set handlebar with back sweat for more comfort. As you can see, the bike's overall length has been increased a lot, almost 100 mm, to give it more stability, and its rides more planted. The bike also has the exhausts which are low set, unlike the upswept exhausts in the Interceptor, so one can put their panniers here. So overall a great setup, a great bike for with the same engine as Interceptor but with a different purpose of touring. The bike really looks beautiful. It has got many colors available in single color and dual tone, and also the top end where there are dual tone versions with a different seat, which is the touring seat setup, and the windshield and many other accessories in the bike, including the panniers. So yes, the bike in the first look looks beautiful. It's eye-catching. It looks very nice, looks very proportional, and definitely it'll turn heads. So now let's look at the bike and its console. So it's got a console similar to Meteor. The meter here gives you the speed, the odometer, the trip meter, the gear indicator, which is not there in the Interceptor, time, but I can't see a tachometer. I'm expecting that there'll be some kind of a rev indicator in graphics. Let's see. Also, it has the navigation setup that Royal Enfield brings. It has here got adjustable gear levers. The controls are rotary type like in the Meteor and in the Reborn 350 Classic. The fork are upside down Showa, and as you can see, since this bike is much more heavier than the Interceptor, which is almost like 30 to 540 kilos more, so it needs better braking. So it's got a bigger disc brake in the rear, a 300 mm. I would have preferred it if it got a dual disc brake, but this bike is engineered pretty well as per various reports and rides very well, brakes very well. So I'm yet to see how it rides. So let's go for a test ride, and let me give you my first impression as an Interceptor owner. What do I feel? Well, as I said on the bike, the stance is much different because the bike's the height is much lower than the Interceptor. It's about the ground. It's about 174 mm as compared to 200 mm plus of Interceptor, and the ground clearance of this bike is about 35 mm down. So definitely this is not a bike which you can take for off-roading, but the stance of this bike is very nice. I'm used to rear set foot pegs in my bike, so the foot pegs are here very forward set. Let's see how I can get adjusted to this. Let me fire the bike and see how it rides. This bike has the same power specs as Interceptor, 47 bhp near about, and 52 Nm of torque, though the most of the torque of this bike comes in the lower RPMs. I'm assuming that it's very peppy. You don't feel the weight at all of this bike at all. The turning radius is much bigger, so you'll need to take a back turn to turn it. I'm searching for the foot pegs in a central position, but these are forward mounted. Alright, so yes, the bike rides very well. The engine is very smooth, the balance is beautiful. You don't feel the weight of the bike at all. So anybody who thinks that the additional weight of this bike will in any way be of any consequence where you will have any decision about its weight. Well, I don't feel any difference. If you've been riding Interceptor, etc., the weight, additional weight will not be any difference at all. And also the foot peg positions, you will just feel it for the first time and then you'll get used to it. The seat really looks very comfortable to me. The Interceptor has the bench seats and these have the touring seat set up in this bike. So yes, it is going to be more comfortable for you on your touring rides, where you can actually ride for hundreds of kilometers together and you will not feel that your bum complaining. So yes, I would like to see how this bike accelerates and if I can get a clear stretch of road, and let's see how this does. So I don't feel any difference as such as compared to Interceptor in terms of how this bike is behaving in its performance and its throttle response, etc. So let me just give it a twist and see how this goes. Superb. I think 0 to 100 is almost same as Interceptor. There, yeah, 120 already. That's short distance. I'm sure this bike stop speed will be exactly same as Interceptor, maybe a few kilometers down. I am not getting access to a free road so that I can do a full high-speed review of this bike, but the first look and feel and the impression of this bike is very impressive. Will this bike be Interceptor killer? Well, a lot of people say that Interceptor and Royal Enfield Meteor Super 650 are two different bikes. Yes, in the Indian market the conditions are a little different, because in India people buy 650 Interceptor because they want a bike which goes with much more power on the road as compared to the other Royal Enfield that are available, 350cc, etc. And people also want to do a lot of touring on those 650cc bikes, but the problem is that those are classic bikes and those have spoked wheels and their seats are made in the classic sense, which are bench, which are like the bench seats. So definitely in those bikes, if you want to do Sunday rides, if you want to do, you know, the roadster kind of profile, if you have, it's good enough. But if you want to use those bikes for touring, then definitely those bikes ask for a lot, and not many solutions are available right now. Because if you get punctured in your spoked wheels, you only get aftermarket spoke wheels which are not very reliable. The seat, you know, changes you have to do in your bike. So with a lot of change, also, you know, it's got upstep exhaust, and if you change the exhaust, there's a fine in the country. So you know, where do you put your panniers? How do you take care of the puncture? You know, how do you take care of your seat comfort? So there are many challenges that an Interceptor owner has. In spite of it being a great bike, there's always been an issue with that bike in terms of its touring capability. Therefore, the same engine specs coming in Meteor 650 with touring setup, I think it's a fantastic offer, and it's up for grabs for people who are looking to upgrade from 350 or a 400cc setup to a much bigger bike which can be wonderful on the roads. So here it is, the Meteor Super 650. Great bike, and it is very stable, and I can feel the stability is much better than the Interceptor on higher speeds, obviously, because given it's got much bigger wheelbase. The rake angle of this bike, you know, the rake angle is much bigger than Interceptor, so it's not as nimble, but it is much more planted. So definitely I am all for this bike. But will I get this bike? I'm not sure, because I really love my Interceptor in the chrome color, and it has got a completely different feel and you know, energy to it. If I was to buy this bike for the first time as an upgrade from a smaller to bigger bike, I would have done that. But having been riding Interceptor for almost a year now, it's got great character in that bike. And definitely for the new riders who want to upgrade to a bigger bike and they're looking for that bike to do a lot of touring, they can look at this bike. The price difference is not even prohibitive, because if you want to get these things done in your Interceptor, an alloy wheel, and you want to have upside down shock, if you want to get wider tires and you know, better controls in terms of the information on the console, etc., then the price is very justified. I'm sure this bike will be a runaway success, and with the color scheme that it has, it's brilliant. And I have just done about 5 kilometers of ride on this bike till now, but I'm already sold on this. I really love this bike, and I recommend that anybody who's looking to buy the foreign brands, though in India for touring bikes, they should consider looking at a Meteor 650. The classic 650 lovers who love the Interceptor and Continental, that is a big set, who like their bike in that typical style with upset stalks and that look and that mean posture. So definitely that will have a separate fan base, but Super Meteor 650 is going to create its own big market in India, and I'm sure that it will be a big threat to the foreign brands who are in the similar engine capacity or even bigger engine capacity, because it rides very, very planted. It's brilliant. So we'll now go back and give the bike back to the Royal Enfield people, and they've been very kind to lend this bike to us. Yeah, I just love riding this bike. I don't know where I've come in Greater Noida. I just seem to have lost my way.
So finally I located the store and I was back at Royal Enfield. Thank you for watching this episode. I'll bring to you more about this bike as we go forward. For now, bye bye. Take care.